Beyond the door, the street felt narrower, as if the city had drawn a breath and held it. I walked on without urgency, guided less by direction than by a growing sense of being led. The silence was no longer empty. It had shape now. It pressed inward, gentle but deliberate, guiding me toward a place I had not planned to find. The room stood within a larger structure, one that had once served many but now served no one. Its outer hall was bare and echoing, stripped of purpose, but the door to the inner chamber was closed. Not sealed, not broken, simply closed, as if it expected to be opened again. I hesitated only briefly before reaching for it, already certain that whatever lay beyond had been waiting longer than I had been gone. Inside, the air felt still and measured. Light entered through a high, narrow window, falling across the floor in a clean, unbroken line. Dust lay everywhere except where feet had once passed. Not recently, but often. The marks were faint, softened by time, yet deliberate enough to be noticed by someone who knew what it meant to arrive late. The room was larger than the one before, yet emptier. No table at its center, no chair drawn close, no object placed for comfort. Instead, the walls themselves carried the memory of purpose. Hooks without cloaks, pegs without tools, a stand without its burden. Each absence felt intentional, as if the room had been cleared rather than abandoned. I moved slowly, tracing the edge of the space. My armor echoed softly here, not loudly enough to disturb, but enough to remind me that I did not belong to the stillness this room had chosen. At the far end, I found a mark in the stone, worn smooth by contact. A place where something heavy had rested, or perhaps where someone had leaned, again and again, waiting for a moment that never arrived. I stood there longer than I meant to. The room did not offer explanation, only patience. It did not accuse and did not forgive. It simply remained, unchanged, as if holding its breath across years, waiting for a presence familiar enough to understand why it had been kept intact, while the rest of the city was allowed to fade. I thought then of the word waiting, and how easily it is mistaken for hope. This place did not hope. It endured. It had been prepared not for return, but for remembrance, as if those who left had known that someone would come back, even if that someone would come too late to change anything. Near the window, I found a small recess in the wall. It was empty now, but its edges were polished by touch. Whatever had once rested there had been handled often, perhaps daily, perhaps with care. I reached out without thinking and placed my hand where it had once been. The stone was cool, steady, and unmoved by my presence. The realization settled slowly. This room had not been waiting for the city to live again. It had been waiting for witness, for someone to see that it had been kept, not by chance, but by choice. That some things had been preserved, not for survival, but for meaning. I stepped back and let the room exist without me. It did not change. It did not follow. It simply remained, complete in its stillness. When I left, I closed the door carefully, not out of reverence, but out of understanding. Some spaces do not belong to those who enter them. They belong to what they remember. As I returned to the street, I felt the weight of the city settle more clearly upon me. The rooms I had found were not random. They were connected, not by corridors or paths, but by intention. Whatever had been left behind had been arranged with care, and I was only beginning to understand how far that care extended.